politically targeted, which I don't doubt he's being politically targeted, but I don't think I think an indictment was the goal of that DA, but we're already starting to see things coming out that show that a lot of people in his own office are not agreeing with that assessment. I think it was the goal of that DA for political reasons, but I don't think it was. I think that it was very unlikely it was ever going to happen. I think the reason Trump put it out there is one, to avoid it, but also to allow people to know that it was going to happen or that it was a possibility. But I don't think it will happen. I thought it was a slim chance of happening in the past before I had seen as much. But no doubt the entirety of it is looking for or is a political attempt
Mhm.
to go after Trump.
Yeah.
And I'm not even a person. I'll even be the first to say it right here is I'm not Trump 2024 100%. Like if he wins the primary, I am. But I'm more of a DeSantis guy. I got to admit. And I know that's a
See,
debate that we have. But
here's my thing. I think that Trump is kind of playing like some 4D chess here. And he comes out and he says that he's going to be indicted and everything. And I think that's because I don't think it's a coinky-dink that we've got Trump up in the polls, DeSantis currently down in the polls. I think he was polling at 28%, Trump at 54%.
Look, and I get what you're saying, and I think, but I also want to remind you to take those with a grain of salt. Remember, the polls had Hillary Clinton winning in 2016, so I don't really trust what the polls are saying.
Yes. I can see that. But I will say, I think it's 4D chess because there has to be some sort of extradition process. If he is to be indicted, it's happening in New York. He should be extradited, right?
So he'd have to be extradited by DeSantis.
Yes. Yes. I think that he would have to, like, at least DeSantis has to have some sort of say. I don't know the legalese surrounding about that, but obviously the governor of Florida has to have some sort of say about his citizen. And, if you take people across state lines, citizens across state lines, you have something to say about that as a governor. I think Trump's playing a little bit of 4D chess here, trying to bring his contender down, who hasn't even really announced yet. And, in the presser, Ron DeSantis was very critical of the DA and was right in that, he's George Soros backed and that he is soft on crime, doesn't prosecute crime.
Yeah,
I think
that's the biggest thing is even if Trump was 100% guilty of this hush money stuff, even if he was, what about the murders that are taking place? District Attorney Briggs or whatever his name is.
Kevin, how could you? That's a whataboutism.
No, but where are your priorities, sir?
Where are your priorities, man? Well, and even if he was 100% guilty of what they're trying to pin him for, the state statute, like the limitations on that, have been up for like 5 years.
Yeah.
So they're saying that it happened like 7 years ago, and it's like the state statutes for this specific crime, which I think is like falsifying business documents or whatever, because he technically didn't even pay Stormy Daniels himself. It was Michael Cohen, and that's according to this letter.
Their claim is that the money that he gave to Cohen was specifically for, and it was known to be specifically for Daniels, which is a very, very hard thing to prove, first off. And also, it's just very hard to prove. And so, we will never truly know the truth if it was, I don't think. I think that it's a political ploy.
Yeah.
Which, if anything, is just making Trump even more popular.
Yeah, we're going to be back here on the radio. Text in your comments, 309-451-9299, or you can make comments on this video. We're live in studio. Yes, you can see us on YouTube, YouTube Live. Type in Cities 929. Or you can text us 309-451-9299. Kevin Ferris and I are both live in studio. You can see us in studio, and you can make comments on our YouTube channel. Be sure to like and subscribe. Good morning. It's the Morning Buzz. And, Kevin, you came in this morning and you had a little something tucked in between your...
I'll show everybody on YouTube if you want to see it. I had a dryer sheet. I did laundry yesterday. I did do some laundry yesterday, and getting up, I'm a college kid. Getting up before 9 a.m. on any given day is rare. And so getting me in the studio. But I'm just so fired up because of what happened last night at this quote-unquote open house candidate forum.
Yeah. So-called.
Yeah, seriously, so-called. It's open to everybody unless you're a conservative that actually wants to report the truth. But because they don't like that. That's what the left hates, is the truth. And so we're going to talk about how essentially the First Amendment is under attack, everybody.
Yeah, the First Amendment under attack here in Bloomington Normal, the Normal Police. Was it Normal Police
I
or
believe might have been ISUPD, the normal badge. It was probably ISUPD.
mm,
And I've always had a good relationship with ISUPD and normal PD. I've talked to a lot of different cops from different situations. Especially, I was assaulted by a professor, and as a freshman at ISU, that I had to have an interaction with the police for. I've helped people create witness statements, things like that, for different things that have happened. All usually political. In some way. And so in this instance, the cop was cordial. He didn't really say a single word to me. He kind of laughed a little bit at some of the things I was saying, how some candidates don't support the police and everything when I was being escorted out. And I really don't, I got to be honest, I don't put too much blame to that cop. Here's the thing. It was a WGLT event. I guarantee you that guy, he should know more when it comes to the First Amendment if you're going to be being security at an event like that. But the WGLT assistant manager or whatever, she goes up to him and says that says that I'm a disturbance or a disruptor or something, and has him escort me out of just the room. Really, I honestly, he escorts me out of the room. I also said, you can hear it in the video, that I would leave willingly as soon as a cop shows up, because I'm the kind of person, I was raised by a wonderful mother, who taught me that you go into things respectfully. You always be respectful. And the only time you ever become disrespectful is if somebody's disrespecting you. You stand up for yourself.
mhm,
And so that's how I was waiting patiently to talk to John Danenberger, running for Bloomington City Council, who doesn't like to answer questions, apparently, from people that want to tell the truth. And so I'm waiting patiently. And I never even get a chance to talk to him. So don't even have a chance to be disruptful or anything. I'm just waiting there. I am waiting to talk to him. And everybody keeps cutting in front of me, including this union rep, who at some point somebody informs him that I'm with Cities 92.9. And I try to keep that quiet just because I knew that he probably wouldn't answer questions, because he's a coward.
mhm.
Because he doesn't actually, and I've never been disruptful at any event I've ever gone to. I've talked to so many different people, and I've never been disruptful. I've never been disrespectful. Everything. I am. You can be Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, Socialist, Fascist. I do not care. I just want to talk to you because
Yeah.
you're a candidate, and we
Yeah.
deserve to be talked.
Yeah, and Ben Matthews is Ben Matthews is the union rep that you're talking about here, and he got in between you.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he only talks to constituents, which isn't interesting. And I'm going to say this, and these are my opinions alone. That or whatever police officer that was, should have laughed in the face of Melissa Liebert, I believe, is the WGLT assistant manager, or whatever, who you can hear in the video on our Facebook page. But uh, what what he did was lie and say that you weren't a constituent. You are.
I am. I patronize their businesses in Bloomington. Well, I don't necessarily live in Bloomington. I use their businesses. I've used I've used public transportation and stuff that is part of Bloomington. I mean, Connect Transit goes through Bloomington, and thus also is partially funded by the city of Bloomington. And so I use their roads. I am a constituent. Not to mention the fact that many of our listeners are constituents.
Mm-hmm.
And I am trying to allow him a platform to be able to tell the truth, which obviously he doesn't want to do, but for him to tell the truth to a large swath of constituents at one time.
Mm-hmm.
Not even if you make the argument, because I don't live in Bloomington, I'm not a direct constituent. I am in a way helping try to represent his constituents by going and asking questions that some of his constituents haven't even heard about.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, you wanted to ask the question, hey, John Tannenberger,
what was in Spain? John, if you're watching this live stream right now, because you hide behind so what a leader, everybody. He hides behind a union rep when people try to ask him questions.
A teacher union rep. I don't even understand.
At WGLT, he hides behind a union rep and biased media. And I shouldn't say biased media, because we are also biased media. We are conservative biased. We are honest about that. But a media that is biased but tell you they aren't. That's who he hides behind. What a leader, everybody. Don't you want a leader who stands in front of everybody and says, no, I will answer this kid's question. Everybody back off.
Yeah.
And let's talk to him. Let's have an honest conversation. Isn't that the kind of leader you want? No. John is not that kind of guy.
No.
John stands back and looks terrified, won't even make eye contact with me.
And this just goes to show you what is going on. Why not answer that question? What was in Spain?
What was
What
in Spain,
what
John?
was in what was in Spain? Why didn't you go and represent this victim of sexual assault?
Hmm.
And you had an obligation as a special victims counsel, and you are there is a laid out criteria if you are in that
Yep.
position that is mandated upon you from the United States Army,
Hmm.
right?
Absolutely. And John, if you are watching this right now, if you're listening anywhere and you ever get a hold of this, know that you have an unlimited invite to come on to my full 2 hour show on a Sunday, and we can break down everything with this story and you can tell all of what your side is. But we're also going to have to talk a little bit about why you hide behind union reps and why you hide behind WGLT's assistant manager, because you as a leader should not do that. And I think you even know that, but you're too afraid to say it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I also want to talk about how you are a student, you pay tuition,
Yep.
and that's a public university.
Yep.
It's promoted as an open house,
Yep.
open house candidate forum. You were there and you paid for the building that you were in
Hmm.
twofold via your taxpayer dollars and because you paid tuition as a student. And then the police came and said, you can't be here. I mean, it's incredible to me. If anybody's not allowed to be there, it's you, it's you, it's
Hmm.
you. If anything, I've got the most right to be here right now
Exactly.
because my money goes directly to this building to fund it, right? My
Absolutely.
money goes here.
Absolutely.
It was incredible. But Kevin Ferris joining me on the Morning Buzz. Got to take a quick break. You can see us live in studio on YouTube. Check it out, Cities 929. It's on YouTube, folks, and you can text in 309-451-9299. We're going to be back on the other side. I'm going to wrap up the show. I have a couple of more stories that I wanted to get to. Specifically, this story about Taylor Brown. Taylor Brown. That's next. Okay, folks. Thanks so much for joining the live stream. Kevin Ferris joining me probably on the other side as well. We're going to run through a couple of stories. One story, Fox's Peter Ducey asked the big question about pass-through payout over $1 million from a Chinese energy company to Hunter Biden's business associate, and then this business associate paid at least three members of the Biden family, and you know they Karen Jean Pierre, she must be upset or something um, that Peter asked this question or not anticipated it because she didn't give her usual answer of, I can't answer that question. You're going to have to answer or ask this agency or this three-letter agency. And that's, she just straight out and said, I'm going to lie, or you're lying. You're straight up lying. Throw in the comments. How's the audio? How's the video? I know it could be better. This is our second time for the morning buzz going live. Kev Ferris set this up. Very good work. But we will be talking about Peter Ducey. Then I want to talk about Taylor Brown. So Taylor Brown, there's this video out there of her refusal to voluntarily surrender this seized phone. So I think that this is important for people to understand the full picture of what's going on. The video was shocking, disturbing, had a lot of emotions tied to it for me personally. Um, but I think that this is something that needs to be talked about with Taylor Brown and Kevin Woodard sat down with the police chief, talked to him about it. So we're gonna get his side of the story as well. What else did we talk about today? We talked about the Trump resistance, right, and how they've been able to get their hopes up every single day for years now, despite having reality dash all of their hopes that Trump is he's gonna be in cups. He's gonna be in cups. No, no, no. There's this super cut that I'm probably gonna get to show you. And it's of the media since 2017. This is a progressive fantasy to have Donald Trump in cuffs. They dream about it. They lay their head down on the pillow at night and they have these dreams that, um, that they're going to, um, they have these dreams that they're going to be, that Trump is going to be in cuffs. So we'll be back on the other side. Morning buzz, couple of minutes here. This is the Fox Business Report, so you can hear it.
True. When all of the air conditioners are sold and all the furnaces are given away during this limited time, that's it. There are no more at this price. You must act before April 1st, 2023.
Summers, plumbing, heating and cooling. We take pride in your comfort. Just call Summers.
The Fox Business Report is from INB's new Lockbox Lite, making it easier for businesses to get their banking done.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Not much change in the tight labor market in the latest reading. There were 191,000 new claims for unemployment benefits last week, down 1,000 from the week before. Continuing claims, those still receiving benefits, rose by 14,000 to 1.6 million. Interest rates are going up around the world to fight inflation despite selective bank turmoil. Yesterday, the Fed raised short-term interest rates by 0.25%. Today, the Bank of England also raised interest rates by 0.25%. The Swiss National Bank raised rates by 0.5%. Ford says its electric vehicle unit will lose $3 billion this year, though it expects the business to make a profit in the next 3 years. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
In business, everything your employees do impacts your brand, including what they wear. Cintas has high-performance workplace apparel for almost every job imaginable. From work shirts and pants, to polos and khakis, to Oxfords or T-shirts, these clothes move, breathe, and look great. Your team gets the styles they like, you convey the image you want. And Cintas service includes weekly laundry and delivery. To learn more, visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
It's called independence. It's called freedom. It's called liberty. It's called the pursuit of happiness.
The David Paul Blumenshine Show.
This thing has gotten so out of control.
Sundays at 1 on Cities 92.9.
Hey, good morning. This is the Morning Buzz, and thanks so much for joining me. If you want to see me live in studio and Kev Ferris, then you guys can go to our YouTube channel and you can type out cities929.com right there in the search bar, and we will be live in studio. You can send us comments, and you can also text in 309-451-9299. Now, I wanted to get to this story, and we're going to have Kevin kind of dissect this with me. And we've got two very different takes on this issue of Trump in this indictment. So, just for years now, we've been hearing the walls are closing in on Trump. And just this morning, MSNBC, or yesterday morning, MSNBC Joe Scarborough said it again. He goes, the walls are closing in on Donald Trump. And I just don't think he's going to be indicted, folks. Now, this is a super cut that I've got, and you got to listen to this because this is completely wild. Somehow I think the Trump resistance has been able to get their hopes up every single day for the past year, in spite of having reality just dash their hopes of Trump being indicted. And this is a super cut done by Tom Elliott, who I've talked to before, is from Gravy News. He's pretty good. He's not much of a radio guy, but this is a super cut he made dating back to 2017. This is the Indicting Trump, a Progressive Fantasy. And the clips you're about to hear from 2017 all the way to 2023.
anybody on anything. You can try and indict. He is not functioning as the president of the United States. Frankly, if he ever gets indicted, he'll have insanity as a defense, I suppose, from a criminal charge. But it's hardly, this is a serious matter.
You're starting to hear people talk about the possibility that Donald Trump leaves office in 2 years and then finds himself in the crosshairs of these New York prosecutors. This sitting president can and should be indicted.
President, there for sure is more than likely going to serve some jail time.
It's clear that Trump is the target and he'll be indicted eventually. On the day Donald Trump leaves office, the Justice Department may indict him.
Now there is talk of jail time for the president.
That Mueller could indict the president for obstruction of justice.
Donald Trump should be indicted for calling a cooperating witness a rat.
He should have been indicted.
The sitting president can be indicted by the Justice Department.
Why aren't we at the target, Trump, having committed crimes to get the presidency? So why aren't we at an indictment yet?
I think there's generally consensus the president has probably committed indictable crimes.
It's very strongly in favor of indicting the president when he is out of office.
That there may be enough evidence to indict Trump.
Is Donald Trump going to be indicted?
Maybe it'll happen. Maybe he'll go to prison.
Is Trump going to be indicted?
No. No, I don't. I really don't think so. When it first came out, I actually was I was still kind of in shock that even Trump came out and said he was going to be arrested. And I think he was giving liberals kind of what they wanted and saying that. But he wanted to show them how much it could backfire. Because here's the thing is if Trump got arrested, an image of Trump in cuffs would only make him more popular.
Mm-hmm.
It would. And so I think that he was trying to place that image in people's heads when the likelihood of it ever happening was very slim. Because it got everybody talking about him again. Here's the thing is that everybody right now, because we got Nikki Haley, Vivek Ramaswamy, we got Ron DeSantis is a possibility still. He still hasn't announced. Kristi Noem is another one people are floating. We have usual people that have run for president, Ben Carson, Ted Cruz, which I think are unlikely this year, but possibility. Everybody's talking about who's running for the Republican presidency. And because Trump announced so early, he made headlines then, but he started, I don't want to say falling off, but he's not the only one people are talking about. Yeah. And Trump needs to be the only one people are talking about. That's his thing. And so he is putting himself back into the limelight. Even more than he already was.
By tweeting that out on Truth Social, by throwing that out there on Truth Social that he was going to be indicted. I think that Trump is playing a little bit of 4D chess here. Now, here's my position on it. Okay, so I think Trump's playing 4D chess. He lives in Florida. Ron DeSantis came out with a presser and he talked about how, the DA, the George Soros-backed DA, complete nut job and soft on crime, all that kind of stuff. And yes, go Ron DeSantis for pointing that out. But then he gets a little bit softer and he says that he's going to stay pretty hands off from it all and that he doesn't know what goes into paying hush money to a prostitute. And he couldn't speak to that. So that was a little bit of a sly against Donald Trump. And then he also didn't go as hard as he could have. He could have said, if they try to extradite my citizen in Florida over this nonsense, then they're going to have some words from me as a governor, right? Because I don't know the legalese behind all of that, but obviously if you're taking somebody across state lines, there's a process to indict them. It's happening in New York. And if he's charged in New York, then they are going to have to get him there. So I think Trump is trying to play a little game here with Ron and get Ron to come out of his little hidey hole and show some colors of what he thinks about him. So I think that Trump is playing 4D chess here and it's brilliant. And it's so true. I mean, the 2017, dating back to 2017, we played that supercut. He's been playing with the media since 2017. He knows that this is just
absolutely. I mean, I even saw there's a clip that I saw somebody post like a week or two ago. No, not within the last week, actually. And it was like the 2-year anniversary or maybe 1 year anniversary. No, it was 2 years of Trump being like, it comes from China. When he was, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They had somebody that was like, oh, well, like, why do you keep saying China virus? It's racist, blah, 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 blah. And he goes, because it comes from China.
It comes from China. It does.
And that's just an example of how he plays with the media. He always is able to get it so that they revolve around him. I don't think Trump is an absolute genius by any means. I don't think he knows everything, and I don't think he's the smartest person in the world. However, when it comes to manipulating the media and marketing, he is dang good at it. Everybody, make America great again on a red hat.
Come on.
Super simple. Why didn't anybody else think of that? But he did. And now there's millions and millions out there.
Yep, it's simple. I don't know if my Make America Great Again hat is not in studio right now. I do have one, and I bring that out just to peeve off the liberals when I'm driving sometimes. But if you want to see me and Kevin in studio, you can always go to YouTube at the 8 o'clock hour of the Morning Buzz, and you can find us there live in studio. We're there. This is the Morning Buzz. We'll be back on the other side. I'm going to wrap things up with this story about Taylor Brown. Okay, folks, I am going to fill Kevin Ferris in on the whole Taylor Brown story. And Kevin, if you want to come over here, I'll show you the video, and I'll share it with you guys.
The person that was arrested?
Yes. Yeah, she was arrested in Normal, and I'm going to just share the screen here with y'all. And we're going to do some sharing the screen, Taylor Brown, the video. This is a story that's up on Cities. And I think if I go like this, right, Kevin, they can see it. So real quick, I'm going to play this.
Why is my phone being seized?
If you would like to talk to the detective that is seizing it, you can. Do you wish to talk to him?
Yeah, but...
Do you want to give an interview?
No, I wanted to ask him why my phone's being seized. Because she said she could take me home, but without my phone. That doesn't make sense. It sounds like...
So are you going to talk to the detective?
No, I need everyone to come and tell me why my phone's being seized, because no one told me this until right now.
Okay.
Right this second.
So
because it seems like
that's the question. So the question.
No, it seems like he's being petty because he woke up and I won't do the interview.
So the question is, are you going to talk to the detective?
As a matter of fact, are you recording this? Yeah. Okay.
Are you going to talk to the detective and provide an interview? Yes or no?
Is that with or without the phone?
Without the phone. The phone's being seized. Are you talking to the detective or no? I don't know. That's not my question.
I need an answer to that before.
So the question is, are you going to provide an interview?
No.
No? Okay. Go ahead and hand me the phone.
I have to know if my phone is being seized.
Go ahead and hand me the phone. Do not kick. Okay, push your legs out. Stop. Relax. Relax.
Mom, I'm not letting go. I promise.
Relax.
Mom, I'm not letting
Relax.
go.
We just want your phone. That's it.
We just want your phone.
They're trying to give me no protection.
Okay, so
Taylor, no.
I'm gonna pause this. So yeah, we're gonna get into that story. I'm glad that you saw the video there, Kev. We are live. If you can hear us, okay, then let us know on the comments here. But yeah, that was some very shocking video. We're gonna dissect it and talk about it because the police chief also made some comments about the seizure, but like the procedure around seizures. And that was intense. And she was there, and I'll go through the story on air here, but she was there after an apartment fire. So she lived in an apartment. The apartment caught on fire. The Normal police came to the scene of the fire, and they said, "Hey, can you wait in the car?" She waited in the car. "Hey, do you want to come to the station and make a statement?" And she said, "Yes, I'll do that." So she goes to the statement. Then she wants to leave about 40 minutes later while waiting for the detective to come back. And then they say, "Okay, we'll take you back, but your phone is being seized as like evidence." So there's this thing where cops can like do a seizure of property, and it's
if
kind
there's
of
probable cause, likely.
If there's suspicion of a crime. And that I imagine that's what they thought, and they were wanting to take the phone, and she refused to give up the phone. So it's very interesting. She came there on her own fruition, and like out of her own like willingness, right? And she said that she didn't want to give up her phone. I think that this is a crazy story, and there's not a whole lot of people talking about the procedure of seizures. And I think that Steve Petrelli, the police chief, does a good job of explaining what that process is like.
Mm-hmm.
However, I mean, at the end of the day, how do we fix things like this and avoid federal lawsuits? Because obviously the normal police now have a federal lawsuit against them for excessive force and, oh gosh, what is it? It's like a probability of or arrest without probable cause,
Oh my god.
something like that. So they have to deal with that as a police department.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be back on air, folks. This is Morning Buzz. Thanks for streaming with us. Hold on. Hey, this is the Morning Buzz, and you can watch us live in studio right now, and you can even watch the video footage that I've got of Taylor Brown. That was obtained, I think, via FOIA by the Panagraph. Originally, it dropped a couple of days ago. Y'all have been asking me my opinions on it. I wait for this kind of stuff, Kevin, to formulate an opinion because it's so intense and the feelings are so intense surrounding this video. So I'm just going to play a little bit of this video and run through what the story is really actually all about.
I need everyone to come and tell me why my phone's being seized because no one told me this until right now.
Okay.
Right this second.
So
because it seems like
that's the question. So the question.
No, it seems like he's being petty because he woke up and I won't do the interview.
So the question is, are you going to talk to the detective?
As a matter of fact, are you recording this? Yeah. Okay.
Are you going to talk to the detective and provide an interview? Yes or no?
Is that with or without the phone?
Without the phone. The phone's being seized. Are you talking to the detective or no?
Is the phone being
I don't know. That's not my question.
I need an answer to that before.
So the question is, are you going to provide an interview?
No.
No? Okay. Go ahead and hand me the phone.
I have to know if my phone is being seized.
Go ahead and hand me the phone.
So then they start to arrest her. They go down to the ground. It's a scrap. And so I was filling Kevin in on the story. February 8th, there was a fire in Normal in its apartment where she lived. And Brown's roommate reported the fire to 911. Brown arrived at the scene. When Brown arrived at the scene, she was asked by the Normal Police Department to wait in the police vehicle at the scene of the fire. She did. And then they asked if she wouldn't mind going down to the station for an interview. So Brown agreed to do so. At the station, she waited for the detective to arrive, which was about 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then she said, I'm tired. I want to leave. So she was told, yes, we can give you a ride home. But this is where it gets crazy and where the trouble starts to begin. The officer said that the phone was being seized at that time. And Brown asked the officer why she wanted it. So the officer is a female Black woman. And in the video, you can hear Taylor saying, "You're a Black woman. How could you be doing this to me?" And trouble began, right? And there's now a federal lawsuit. Now, Steve Petrilli, he goes into house seized property without an arrest or a warrant. You can do this. So all that's required to seize property is reasonable suspicion that a crime is being committed. Now, this is important because there's a criminal investigation into this fire, and it's being jointly conducted by the Normal Police Department and the fire department. And essentially what's going on is, they seize the property because they have suspicion of crime. That's the only way that can be happening. And they can go and get a warrant later. I don't know if they've gotten a warrant later. From what I understand, they still don't have the warrant. But this is the full picture. This is the full context. And I think at the end of the day, there needs to be some sort of independent board, public and safety board like Bloomington has in order to address things like this. So that way we're not fighting federal lawsuits all of the time.
Yeah.
Maybe
Absolutely.
if Taylor was educated on the law, right, that seizures can happen. That's not to say that I don't think that this arrest was made by the boy. I don't know. It looks really bad.
Yeah,
Like this, it looks really bad. She's 18 years old. So, real quick, with a couple of minutes left, your thoughts, Kev?
Yeah, I mean, especially if it's an 18-year-old girl. I mean, okay, so legally, in the eyes of the law, yes, you're an adult, but we all know how an 18-year-old acts. Like you need to have for an 18-year-old to give up their phone.
Yeah.
Period. Their parent.
Yeah.
Is a fight. And so to give it up to a police officer, even if there is probable cause, I understand that this is the law and everything. I think they should have done a way better job of handling that situation verbally. There are ways to de-escalate conflict and to ensure that somebody fully understands. And not to mention the fact that this girl, I mean, I don't know what crime is she suspected of doing. Is she suspected of burning down the apartment? Is that the issue?
I have no idea.
That's
They can't talk about that criminal investigation at all. No idea.
Because like, so if she's she just was in a apartment fire. Like, let's take the facts that we know. She was just in an apartment fire. I'd be shaken.
Yeah, well, she wasn't in it. She arrived to the scene later.
Gotcha. But it was her apartment that was on fire.
Yes. Yeah. Still.
And so I mean, there's still a sense of kind of shock that comes with that. I would 100% bet that she's not in the right state of mind, given that part of that part of it. And then you're all of a sudden, again, an 18-year-old being told that you have your phone has to be taken away, and you're not really given a clear reason as to why. The thing is I think the cops handled this poorly. And I'm usually a person
if they would have
always
just explained to her, hey, this is why we have the authority to seize your property, because we suspect you of a crime. Why can't they just say that? I don't know. But at the end of the day, we had Steve Petrilli say that the normal police officers go through high levels of training when they're in situations like this, and they always refer to their training. But it is what it is. You can check out the video. We've got a news story up there. You can see all of Steve Petrilli's comments. That's going to do it for our show today. But thanks so much for joining us on the radio and on YouTube Live, which we go live now, folks, on Cities 92.9. So you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye. I love you. All right, folks, thanks so much for joining me live here. Be sure to throw in the comments what we can be doing better for this live stream. But you guys let me know, and join again tomorrow. We're going to start doing lives on the Morning Buzz in the 8 o'clock hour every day. So thanks so much, and you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.